welcome to an India Today special broadcast. I'm Gaurav Sawant. It's a huge embarrassment for Pakistan because after saying at least a dozen times that they will not accept a hybrid model, it appears that Pakistan has accepted the hybrid model for Champions Trophy. The ICC has approved Champions Trophy, but hybrid model. Pakistan wanted to host all matches in Pakistan, including India matches, and if India refused to travel to Pakistan like India did, then Pakistan wanted, or at least commentators in Pakistan wanted, another team to be brought in. And the ICC's made one thing very clear, that's not happening. There is no match happening without India. There's another big point. Top sources are telling India Today that the ICC has also made it very clear to Pakistan there will be no compensation for the Pakistan Cricket Board for matches that will be played in Dubai. But is that a lollipop that's being given to Pakistan that they may get to host, or they will get to host the ICC Women's Tournament, but that's also after 2027. Both the BCCI and the PCB, in principle, have agreed that the World Cup, the T20 World Cup 2026, the India-Pakistan matches will be played in Colombo. But the league matches, what happens to the semi-finals? What happens to the finals? Now, there are many layers to this story, and it's just unfolding, and we're getting you that big story here on India Today. And I have India Today's Nikhil Naz. Who better than Nikhil Naz to break this down for us and tell us what this actually means, because it's now final. India made it very clear, India will not travel to Pakistan for the ICC Champions Trophy. The India matches will be played in Dubai. The decision that's been taken during the ICC meet is that the hybrid model has finally been approved in presence of both India and Pakistan. Now, let's try and make sense of these developments. Pakistan has been told there will be no compensation paid to Pakistan Cricket Board, but they'll get to host the ICC Women's Tournament post-2027. Let me bring in Nikhil Naz into this conversation. Remember, Pakistan Cricket Board Chief Mohsin Naqvi, who's also Pakistan's Interior Minister, he'd made it very clear, not once but repeatedly, that there will be no hybrid model. Arzu Kazmi will join us from Pakistan in just a moment. Nikhil Naz with me here in the studio. And Nikhil, is this a climb down by Pakistan? And explain what this climb down means.
Gaurav, if you were to read reports in the Pakistani media, you would not think that it's a climb down, it's a victory for them. But it's far from that. And why is it a climb down? Because as you mentioned right at the start of this broadcast, that what is it that Pakistan started off by saying? They said that, listen, we've come to you every time, whether it's been the 50 World Cup or previous to that as well, we've been coming, and you promised us that when we get a tournament, you will also reciprocate and come to Pakistan. BCCI said nothing doing. There is a threat perception for the Indian team, and we cannot be sending our team. At that time, PCB said only one thing, that whatever happens, we're not going to accept the hybrid model. In fact, you had the Interior Minister, who's also the PCB chief, go on to say so far as that we will take injury, but we will not take insult. Injury is accepted, which means take the tournament away from us. You could have sanctions against us. Whatever you may decide, we'll take the injury, but we will not take the insult of having any matches outside Pakistan. Because if every other team is coming here, why shouldn't the Indian team come? When they went to the negotiation table or the ICC table, they realized that this was all bravado. This was another thing saying something. But when you look at the logistics, you look at the commercial arrangements that the ICC have, this is not a bargain that they could have had. Eventually, they did not take 1 or 2 steps. They took 10 steps behind and accepted the hybrid model. Now, in a
10 steps behind. So let's discuss each and every one of those 10 steps over the course of this special broadcast. Arzu, typical Pakistani bluster. Typical Pakistani bluster. You know, like in war, Pakistani generals would say, breakfast in Lahore, lunch in Amritsar, dinner in Delhi, whereas they couldn't even reach the LC. It's the same equivalent in the cricketing parlance. hybrid model finally accept kar diya. Why did Pakistan say we will not accept a hybrid model when Pakistan ultimately had to accept the hybrid model? What happened, Arzu?
आई थिंक गौरव ये सोचे बगैर बात करते हैं और बहुत जल्दी ये रिस्पॉन्ड कर देते हैं. थोड़ा सा सोचना चाहिए बिकॉज एवरीवन इन पाकिस्तान वाज एक्सपेक्टिंग द सेम रिजल्ट व्हिच हैपेंड because naturally everybody knows के क्या security situation है and how Pakistan is facing the terrorism also. Not only in Pakistan but even the Chinese workers are facing this kind of attacks and everything. So even we are agree that in some point Pakistan I think Pakistan government जो है वो थोड़ा सा late उसने respond किया है. Otherwise इनको पहले से पता था कि ऐसा ही होना है. But now they said that they will not go. I mean, the Pakistani team will not visit India as well. So ये तो एक कहा जा सकता है कि हो सकता है जब तक आपके यहाँ मैचेस होंगे जब तक कोई और बात हो जाएगी या कुछ और ये कहना शुरू कर देंगे. But still I feel कि this is the high time and पाकिस्तान को understand करना चाहिए that they have to consider and they have to work hard on terrorism as well as the security concerns. जो भी हमें भारत कहता है. तो आई थिंक दिस इज द राइट थिंग व्हिच इंडिया डिड एंड आई अप्रिशिएट के ऐसा होना चाहिए बिकॉज जब तक प्रेशर नहीं आएगा यहाँ पे ऐसा ही होता रहेगा. लेकिन दे आर वर्किंग. आई एम नॉट सेइंग दे आर नॉट वर्किंग ऑन टेररिज्म एंड एवरीथिंग बट दे आर वर्किंग वेरी स्लो.
But they are not working on India-centric terror. You know, and I want to qualify this, and Arzu will bear me out on this. Pakistan, when Pakistan says that it's lost lives fighting terror, or Pakistan is fighting terror, Pakistan is only fighting Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. Their bad terrorists who they train but now are killing them. They are taking no action against Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, Hizbul Mujahideen, and a number of other terrorist organizations that Pakistan considers good terrorists who are killing Indians. But Nikhil, India plays all our matches in Dubai, and should India make it to the semi-finals and the finals, are we to understand that too will be played in Dubai, nothing in Pakistan, and no compensation for Pakistan either?
That's right. So that's non-negotiable. What India has said that none of their matches, because PCB, when they agreed to the hybrid model, came up with another counter offer saying, okay, fine, we'll allow the League India matches to happen in Dubai, but allow us to host the semis, if not the semis, at least the final, if India reaches there. BCCI said nothing doing. We cannot even allow that. We cannot allow India to be playing there. So they've agreed to a hybrid model without any conditions. Everything that the BCCI asked for was given. The only sort of a leg to stand on that PCB has at the moment, but because of the bluster that you mentioned, that they started this entire negotiation with, they had to have something to go back, and for which they've asked, okay, if that's the case, we've agreed to a hybrid model, you're not even paying us the compensation, because remember, that compensation was offered to them without any condition. Yes. They refused to take that. They said, no, then we need some face saving. It's semantics at the end of the day, that we need to go and tell our countrymen back home that we also will not be traveling to India. Now that's very interesting. While it's a face saving exercise for Pakistan, and you can understand that, it doesn't hurt India at all. And you have to look deep down as to understand why a BCCI would have agreed to it in the first place. The first thing that comes is that 2026 T20 World Cup you're talking about. The big difference here is it's not an equal sort of a trade. The Champions Trophy was completely being hosted in Pakistan. Yes. You made the India matches go out. The T20 World Cup was anyway to be co-hosted between India and Sri Lanka. Well, yes. The BCCI has said that fine, you don't want to play your matches in India, that's all right. You play your matches in Sri Lanka because some matches are to be hosted in Sri Lanka anyway. That's an arrangement. So they're happy to have those matches being played in Sri Lanka. And by the way, if Pakistan is to reach the final, I don't think there has still been an agreement on that. There is just an understanding. If Pakistan is to reach the final, that final is to be hosted in India. Have we heard the last word on that? I don't think so. I think that's a bridge that they'll cross. But in this entire negotiation, it may seem like, and there's a new word that has come out in Pakistan saying, okay, fine, we agreed to hybrid, but this fusion model we asked for, we've got it. It may be a fusion model, but majority of the pound of flesh that India needed to extract has been done quite easily.
And this is just step one. This is just step one, Arzu. I still fail to understand why would Mohsin Naqvi, and Mohsin Naqvi wears multiple hats. He's Pakistan Cricket Board Chief. He's also Interior Minister of Pakistan. So of all the people, he knows the internal security situation in Pakistan. He knows how many soldiers Pakistan is losing every day in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and in Balochistan. He knows the number of terror attacks that are happening across the length and breadth of Pakistan, and terrorists operating freely, not just in Gilgit-Baltistan, in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, in Balochistan, but also in Sindh and in Punjab. You know it, Arzu. You live in Punjab, and there have been terror attacks that have taken place, and terrorists openly roaming around in Bahawalpur and in Muridke and several other parts, Arzu. Why did he play this game of brinkmanship?
First of all, I want to clear, Gaurav, one thing here, that Pakistan never says a good terrorist or bad terrorist. They always mention a good Taliban and a bad Taliban. They mentioned that TTP is a bad Taliban, other government who are running the government are good Taliban. They never said even a single time that good terrorist or bad terrorist. Anyway, but
so
yes,
what is Lashkar-e-Taiba? Lashkar-e-Taiba are good people. Maulana Sahab,
no,
Maulvi Sahab, Professor Sahab.
They are not, but they are not a Taliban as well.
They're
terrorists. They are terrorists and yes, they are terrorists, and everybody says that they are terrorists. Even Hafiz Saeed and all other names which you know me, you know better than me, the long list. But they are terrorists, and I hope that I wish that Pakistan unke upar kaam kare. Pakistan have to punish them, have to arrest them. But unfortunately, as I always say, there are many other groups also. In इसी group में से बहुत से दूसरे group बन गए. It's not very easy for them to control. But yes, they have certain, you can say they have very powerful people. Even they are supported by business community and maybe some politician and other peoples. Otherwise, अभी तक action हो गया होता. अगर ये करना चाहें तो ये इनके लिए ज़्यादा लंबा काम नहीं है. But unfortunately, many of them are hero in Pakistan. You talk to other people from Pakistan and they will say that Hafiz Saeed is a hero. Hafiz Saeed is not a terrorist. Same they will say for Masood Azhar and other people. So until or unless they declare them completely, उनको बोलेंगे नहीं जब तक के terrorist हैं, तब तक उनके ऊपर action कैसे होगा? Because they already said that कि जी Hafiz Saeed को 31 years की jail कर दिए, but he is a house arrest. He is not in the jail. But yes, Mohsin Naqvi साहब, मैं उनको क्या कहूँ? He says whatever dictation he got from the establishment. So everybody knows that he's a person who received the dictation and उसके बाद ही वो आके अपनी statement देते हैं. So उनके statement को इतना seriously ना लें.
Dictation mila. So again, this tells you more about the personality also of the Pakistani military leadership. All bluff, all bluster, and they don't have legs to stand on when the situation gets very tough. Nikhil, what does this mean financially for Pakistan if all the India matches are played in Dubai? Loss of face, yes, but is it also loss of money because they get no compensation?
See, firstly, I mean, Pakistan decided to agree to this hybrid model because had they not agreed to it, they wouldn't have got the compensation they were looking at. So it was very essential for them to ensure that they agree to the demand. So $75 million, just the hosting right they're going to get. Yes, usually what happens if you agree to a hybrid model and it is outside your country, the expenditure goes up, in which case there is a little bit more compensation that you get. So that 75 could go to $85 million because as the host board, you get that. However, because Pakistan decided to negotiate the fusion model, quote unquote, where they are now saying that they will not travel to India to play their matches. So they said, okay, fine, then you don't get that extra compensation that you would have got for having those India matches outside of Pakistan. So this is where it remains. As I said, it is a lot for Pakistan to gain, which is why they've decided to take a step like that. The entire economy of Pakistan cricket depends on the funding that they get from the ICC. Majority of that funding that gets into the ICC is courtesy India, not BCCI, courtesy India, because you have Indian sponsors, you have money that comes from India per se. And as soon as you decide to play hardball and say, okay, it's my way or the highway, which you had said initially, but now you see a climb down, it's precisely for this reason, because you could have reached a situation where there wouldn't have been a Champions Trophy. How else would they run their budget for the next 3 to 4 years as far as their cricket is concerned? India, on the other hand, self-sufficient. All bilateral series that you pay, huge draw, India playing Australia at the moment, huge draw, huge television rights. Your IPL per se, which is a domestic tournament, makes a lot of money, enough for BCCI to run and spend that money to its state board. So it's not a battle of equals at the moment when it comes to cricket.
Frankly, it was never a battle of equals. India has always been far superior, but for some reason, for decades, India let Pakistan punch far above their weight. thankfully no longer. But Arzu, I want to understand from you, in Pakistan, and I've been listening to a lot of commentary on Pakistani television and social media, in Pakistan they say कि अगर पाकिस्तान को नहीं खिलाओगे तो बीसीसीआई और आईसीसी डूब जाएगा, क्योंकि बीसीसीआई और आईसीसी इंडिया पाकिस्तान मैचेस में जो स्पॉन्सर्स आते हैं उससे चलता है. क्या ये सही में पाकिस्तान की सोच है, या ये कुछ लोग हैं जो अपने आप को ऐसे दिलासा देते हैं? बिकॉज क्लियरली I know the kind of education we have in Pakistan, but clearly they can't think that ICC survives because of India-Pakistan cricket.
No, I don't think that ICC survived because of the India-Pakistan matches. लेकिन ये बात तो फैक्ट है कि India-Pakistan मैचेस से ही उसमें सबसे ज्यादा अट्रैक्शन पैदा होती है. अगर आप पाकिस्तान और इंडिया को नहीं रखेंगे किसी भी एक टीम को, तो ऑब्वियसली उसमें जो अट्रैक्शन है वो कम हो जाएगी. इधर तक तो पाकिस्तान के जो कमेंटेटर्स हैं वो ठीक ही बता रहे हैं, बट नेचुरली अगर पाकिस्तान आके भारत नहीं खेलेगा और साफ मना कर देगा, तो डेफिनेटली पाकिस्तान को इसके ऊपर सोचना होगा कि आज भारत ने मना किया, कल बाकी टीम्स भी मना कर सकती हैं. सो वी नीड टू वर्क वेरी हार्ड ऑन आवर सिक्योरिटी. एंड जो टेररिज्म के हमारे ऊपर लगते रहते हैं इल्जाम, वो कोई झूठे तो है नहीं, बहुत बार साबित भी हो चुका है. तो वी नीड टू वर्क हार्ड ऑन दिस, तभी हमारे पास कोई आएगा. अदरवाइज इस तरह की ब्लेम गेम खेलने से कुछ नहीं होगा. और बाकी तो जो लोग नहीं आ रहे, या पाकिस्तान को अगर कोई लॉस हो रहा है फंडिंग में, तो डेफिनेटली उसका क्रेडिट तो भारत को ही जाएगा ना. आप लोग नहीं आ रहे और इसी वजह से पाकिस्तान को जो है वो ये सब कुछ फेस करना पड़ रहा है.
And I want, and since I know a lot of Pakistanis watch our show very closely, the kind of response we get from Pakistan on our show, I want Nikhil to tell our Pakistani friends facts about India-Pakistan cricket, Indian cricket, India-Australia cricket and funding. क्योंकि do keep in mind आरज़ू, IPL में कोई पाकिस्तान नहीं है और भारत के पास पैसे की कोई कमी नहीं है. But hear it from Nikhil and not from me.
Yeah, Gaurav, I mean, this is a myth, and I think someone really needs to do a fact check on it, and we kind of did that. Even in terms of viewership, it is still not the #1 draw, India-Pakistan. Various reasons behind that. One, of course, the gulf between the two teams has increased. There was a time where the two teams went toe-to-toe and there used to be, heated contests on the cricket field. But in the last decade and a half, Indian team has really pulled away. It's not even a close contest on the cricket field per se. So that's one of the reasons. We just had the 2023 Cricket World Cup happen in India, where the India-Pakistan game actually fared as the 5th most watched game of that tournament. So in India, New Zealand and India, Australia, much higher, rated much higher. So what people really crave for is good cricket. Of course, there is a history between India and Pakistan, but that history can only take you that far. You really need to have that competition on the field. So that's the other thing. The other thing I'll tell you, remember, this was another bogey that was being played, that listen, India-Pakistan bilateral cricket must continue because it's good for the financial health of both teams. India-Pakistan have not indulged in bilateral series for more than a decade now. Has it in any way dented India's cricket economy? No, it's only gone much higher. It has definitely dented Pakistan's cricket economy, also based on their overall national economy that exists at the moment, but it has not dented India's economy. I think people have realized that there are better avenues, there are better matches, there are better contests. Only reason why you've seen a bit of a compromise in this situation is because these rights were sold in advance, where you knew there is going to be an India-Pakistan game, and now the broadcaster would say you need to renegotiate if you're not having an India-Pakistan game, which is not ideal for ICC. But I think going forward, now that there has been a precedent set that we are going to have a hybrid model going forward, the broadcasters would know that the pricing of series is going to be based on that. And if on that occasion Pakistan decides to pull out, I think they will not have a leg to stand on. It'll be much easier then for the ICC to agree on that.
So that sword of Damocles is hanging over Pakistan's head. And Arzu,
can I say one thing?
Please, Arzu, boliye na.
I just want to say, Gaurav, just add Pakistani cricketers into IPL and you will see the magic. जो इस वक्त आप लोगों को मिल रहा है उससे डबल ना हो जाए तो
नहीं चाहिए. हमें आतंकवादी और आतंकवादी समर्थक नहीं चाहिए. ये 2008 26/11 के बाद इंडिया ने बहुत क्लियरली बताने की कोशिश की थी कि ये एंड आई वांट टू टेल आवर व्यूअर्स दिस, ये हर भारतवासी कहना चाहता है, we're not saying your cricketers are terrorists. Well, some of them support terrorists, which is very sad. which is very sad when you have people like Afridi, Nikhil, and you can tell us better. People like Afridi stand with terrorists. I believe one of his relatives is one. That's point one. वो अपने घर का टीवी तोड़ देता है क्योंकि उसकी बेटी आरती देख रही होती है इंडियन टेलीविजन में. आपके क्रिकेटर्स कन्वर्ट करना चाहते हैं, सबको मुसलमान बनाना चाहते हैं, और वो बहुत जोर से बोलते हैं कि हमारा तो कोशिश है कि जो क्रिकेट खेलने आए हम उसको मुसलमान बना दें. कौन खेलना चाहेगा आरजू ऐसी टीम के साथ? कौन खेलना चाहेगा? क्यों हम आईपीएल में उनको लेकर आए? टेल मी दिस. आपने तो खुद इंजमामुल हक की बात सुनी, आपने खुद अफरीदी की बात सुनी है. वो कश्मीर पर हमको गाली देंगे और हम उनको आईपीएल में लाएंगे. आप बताइए ना आरजू.
नहीं, डेफिनेटली दिस इज व्हाट आई सेड कि इनको इसके ऊपर काम करना होगा. अपने जो क्रिकेटर्स हैं उनको भी बात समझानी होगी. पाकिस्तान को बहुत कुछ चेंज करने की जरूरत है, और जब ऐसा हो जाएगा तो डेफिनेटली वो दिन भी आएगा जब आप लोग आईपीएल में क्या हर जगह पाकिस्तान के साथ खेलेंगे. लेकिन
आप एक हाफिज सईद को मार दो, आप मसूद अजहर को मार दो, आप इंडिया सेंट्रिक टेरर खत्म कर दो, आप टेररिस्ट के खिलाफ एक्शन लो. एवरी इंडियन वुड वांट गुड रिलेशंस विद पाकिस्तान. But no Indian wants a repeat of 26/11 and Pulwama and Pathankot. Nikhil, isn't that the case? Isn't that what is holding India-Pakistan cricket back?
Well, there was a reason why, despite having Pakistani cricketers in the IPL for the inaugural season, and some of them were even part of the winning team, did BCCI take a stand like that? Because, national duty, national interest came first. At that time, it did, seem like that the IPL, even before it really gets going, will come down as a league. But as I mentioned earlier, it hasn't. It's only gone from strength to strength. In fact, Indian cricket as such, as I gave you an example of bilateral cricket that used to happen quite often, it was a big draw to begin with. That hasn't happened for more than a decade, but I don't think too many people are missing it at the moment. I don't hear too many people saying, hey, why are we not traveling to Pakistan, or Pakistan coming and playing here? More and more Indian cricket fans are looking forward to an India-Australia series.
Or when India
is traveling to South Africa, because that's competitive cricket at the end of the day.
और आरजू यही बात अगर पाकिस्तान समझ जाए ना कि इंडिया के साथ क्रिकेट खेलना, और आपके क्रिकेटर्स का कहना कि मेरे लिए गजवाए हिंद है, इमरान खान का कहना कि जब मैं इंडिया के साथ खेलता हूं तो वो मेरे लिए कश्मीर के लिए जिहाद है. आपको मालूम है ये कितना हमारे कानों में खटकती है इस तरह की बातें? ये गजवाए हिंद क्या होता है? आप क्रिकेट खेलने आ रहे हो कि गजवाए हिंद करने आ रहे हो आपके क्रिकेट की टीम आरजू? आप बताइए, इस ऐसी परिस्थिति में व्हाई वुड एनी इंडियन वांट पाकिस्तानीज इन आईपीएल और बायलैटरल क्रिकेट आरजू?
You are right. This is very unfortunate, and I want कि इसके ऊपर पाकिस्तान जो है वो बहुत सीरियसली काम करे, इन चीजों को रोका जाए, स्पेशली स्पोर्ट्स में और दूसरी चीजों में. There is no need to put religion everywhere. तो ये चीज नहीं होनी चाहिए, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली अभी नहीं कर पा रहे. लेकिन आई होप कि ये कोशिश करेंगे, क्योंकि जब इस तरह के इंटरनेशनल टूर्नामेंट से बाहर होंगे और कोई टीम खेलने को तैयार नहीं होगी तो डेफिनेटली एम्बैरेसमेंट तो है पाकिस्तान के लिए. बाकी ये ना माने वो अलग चीज है, लेकिन एवरीबडी नोज कि इट्स अ बिग एम्बैरेसमेंट फॉर पाकिस्तान.
And there's a long history, Nikhil. There is a long history. The first India-Pakistan bilateral that was played in Pakistan, and we've had a series where we couldn't play much because of the 47-48 war, the 65 war. When a series was played, the Pakistani captain said, the victory of Pakistan, by cheating, and Nikhil, you know that better, they cheated, they won, and they said it's a victory of all Muslims over all Hindus. So it's not that this is the mindset of a Shahid Afridi now, or a Ghazwa-e Hind mindset now, or Imran Khan saying it's jihad now. They've had that mindset throughout, Nikhil.
Gaurav, I mean, I understand that India-Pakistan contests are heated, and you hear it from both teams. They each of them wear their heart on their sleeves and want to perform the best for their country. You talk about some of those tours where the umpiring came into questioning, but I do remember Imran Khan then going on to say that, listen, it's better we don't have Pakistani umpires and we go in for neutral umpire. That's the history that the two countries have shared. I'll also be, if I was to balance it out, I'll also say that there have been times where Indian cricketers have gone there and they've enjoyed Pakistan hospitality, in the sense I've heard from a lot of cricketers that have traveled there saying that the fans per se really love the cricketers coming in, provided everything else can be fine. I know this for a fact that Virat Kohli is probably the most popular cricketer in Pakistan, more so than any other cricketer there is. But I think that is down to the cricket. That's because they like Virat Kohli, the cricketer. It's not Virat Kohli who comes out and says various things that for me, India-Pakistan game is a war, or for me, this is victory of one religion over the other. I think the fans per se realize that, but there are, of course, a lot of elements that have ensured that you don't have a lot of
And one thing, and Arzu, I hope this message goes loud and clear to all in Pakistan, that one cricket team cannot come with cricket bats and another 10 with AK-47s like they did during 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks. That's clearly unacceptable to Naya Bharat. Arzu Kazmi and Nikhil Naz, as always, for joining me here on this India Today special. Many thanks. We'll track developments on the story very closely.